Hey everyone, I'm Sendoh, and today we've had a new controversy in the CS2 competitive scene. Several professional players have reportedly lost skins that people had lent them to use in professional tournaments. The situation is so bad that thousands of dollars have been lost, and it seems that the players aren't even concerned about their reputation. So today we are going to talk about this story because you really can't trust anyone. So let's go! It's very likely that when watching a professional match or an important tournament, you will see players using flashy skins, some very exclusive or expensive crafts, and one might assume that it's because the players earn a good salary and have the money to afford these virtual items. However, the reality is that in most cases, these skins are borrowed. Many collectors consider it an honor for their favorite player to use their skin in a major. In fact, it could even be said that it adds significant prestige to the skin. To make all of this possible, there's a community-managed Discord server that allows professional players to request skins under the condition that they can only keep them for a limited number of weeks. Essentially, they should only use them for tournaments and little else. This system has worked for years. In fact, there have been almost no issues beyond a professional forgetting to return a skin or wanting to keep it a little longer. It's a project based on trust and the reputation of professional players. At the end of the day, if for example Donk wants to use your skin for a major, you will trust him fully due to his status, believing that he will return it when the time is up. As I said, given the circumstances, it's hard to imagine anyone risking their career and their reputation over some skins, especially since it's well known within the scene that it's easy to get the sponsorships that provide these skins. But in the past few hours, two cases have come to light involving professionals who broke this gentleman's agreement, gambled the skins away and lost them. The whole situation is deeply unfortunate. The first case involves the Ukrainian player Ganginho. Apparently, a user named Karina lent him a field-tested Karambit Autotronic on February 18th. Because he wanted to use it for some qualifiers with his team. In fact, it wasn't the first time she had lent him a skin, so he was in theory a trustworthy person. After the qualifiers, Ganginho asked Karina if he could keep the knife for a few more weeks, and she agreed without any issues. However, sometime later the news broke that Ganginho had been banned by the esports committee for match fixing in official CS2 games. As a result, Karina wanted her knife back because she didn't want to be associated with someone like that. When she requested her knife back, she discovered that it was no longer in Ganginho's inventory, but in another account with a bunch of knives. Naturally, she asked him what was going on, and Ganginho told her to relax, explaining that he had simply transferred it to another account he uses for matchmaking and he would return it once the trade lock was over. But that never happened. In fact, the situation was much worse than Karina expected. Apparently, Ganginho had sold the knife on a CS2 gambling site to get balance to play. Regretting his actions, he contacted the trader who bought it to try to repurchase it. He offered to pay the balance back and wanted the trader to pretend to be one of his secondary accounts to align with the story he told Karina. However, halfway through the negotiation, Ganginho stopped responding, and since he didn't pay, the trader revealed the entire situation to Karina. After weeks of excuses from the player, the story became public yesterday. Unfortunately, Ganginho eventually paid Karina the value of the knife, so technically this story had a somewhat happy ending. But the next case I'm going to tell you about is even worse because the amount of money involved is insane. In March 2023, yes, 2 years ago, imagine how long this problem has been ongoing, the player Jkaem, who was playing for Apex that time, borrowed several skins from Elsan to play in the Paris Major. He took an M4 Welcome to the Jungle and an AK-47 Wild Lotus, two very exclusive skins that are currently worth over $11,000. After the Major, this player began making endless excuses to avoid returning the skins. He claimed to have issues due to traveling and participating in tournaments, which is absurd since trades can be done via mobile. But like Ganginho, the truth is that these skins were sold on CS2 gambling sites and the money was lost. Realizing this, Elsan started demanding compensation, asking for either the same skins or their value. Jkaem agreed without issue. In fact, to make up for the trouble, he said he had bought the same skins but in better condition, promising to return everything along with a little extra money as compensation. But after saying that, he spent months making more excuses. Eventually, Elsan told him that if he didn't pay by March 15, he would make the entire situation public. For a player of this status, an incident like this is disgraceful. Even Zipol, a well-known trader, tried to convince Jkaem to return the money, but days went by and he did absolutely nothing. In fact, as I was writing this script, Jkaem just released a statement saying that he's sorry, that he messed up, that he genuinely has a problem, and that he will pay back everything he owes. He has met with his team and they have committed to resolving all the issues. But honestly, this statement feels like a public apology just because the situation became public. If it hadn't, nothing would have changed. The truth is that this whole situation is a disaster. Without social media, where affected people can speak out about the injustices within the CS2 community, these players will continue borrowing skins without ever returning them. It's a real shame because a project created by and for the community is falling apart due to the people like this. I'm pretty sure that from now on fewer people will lend their skins, and if they do, it will only be to world-class or ultra-famous players. Even then, there's always the risk that something like this will happen again. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on the latest CS2 news. I'm Sendoh and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!